Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening and welcome to the National News broadcast, bringing to you live from the National News Studios here at Rupavahini. We're ready to bring you the top stories here at home and around the world. I'm Charita Minipurarachi.
And I'm Shram Mascarenhas. First, it's a look at today's headlines.
The Treasury Secretary says that if the salaries of public servants is increased, the existing VAT will have to be increased by 20 to 21%. People face immense difficulties due to a strike by a group of public servants. 2 suspects have been arrested in Katunayaka over the assassination of Surendra Vasantha. The petition filed to prevent the presidential election was dismissed. Minister Bandula says that he regrets for not being able to teach economics to Sajid and Anurakumara. Leftist New People's Alliance wins the French general election.
On to those and other stories in detail now, and starting off with the top story. The Secretary to the Treasury, Mahinda Siriwardena, stated that granting the salary increase demanded by striking public servants would necessitate raising the current VAT from 18% to between 20 to 21%.
He emphasized that the government cannot impose such a burden on the public. He made these remarks during a discussion held today at the Presidential Secretariat, chaired by President Ranil Wickremesinghe, concerning the demands of the public service trade unions. Secretary to the Treasury, Mahinda Siriwardena, said that the salaries increased by 10,000 rupees and an amount of 140 billion rupees will be required to pay the salaries. Therefore, this should be managed with the existing income. Mainly taxes are to be increased to increase the income. To pay a salary increase of 10,000 rupees, the VAT should be increased by 3 or 4%. At this moment, it is difficult to increase the VAT as it is already at maximum rate of 18%. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the VAT is to be increased by 20 or 21%. RHS Samaratunga said that unless the VAT is increased by 3%, the required income cannot be obtained. But it is too difficult to increase the VAT by another 3%. People are against even the existing VAT rate of 18%. Earlier, the government's increased the debt limit and printed money. The central bank cannot do it at present.
මුදල්ලච්චු ගහලා දෙන එක. දැන් මේ දෙකෙන් එකක්වත් අපිට කරන්න බෑ. මහා බැංකුවෙන් එහෙම මුදල් ගන්නත් බෑ. නීතිමය වශයෙන් ඉඩකඩක් නැහැ.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that if we print money, the IMF agreement will collapse. Increasing VAT will also make the people come to streets. Increasing the VAT will make it hard for the people to live. RHS Samaratunga said that the President has said that a separate expert committee has been appointed to study the report on salary discrepancies. After their recommendations, a new salary increase can be given from the new budget. Secretary to the Treasury, Mahinda Siriwardena, said that there is a target in this program. It should be managed within the target.
People faced immense difficulties today due to the strike started by a group of public servants. However, services were maintained properly in some government institutions. Several trade unions have started the strike demanding 25,000 rupee allowance, which was given to the executive level officials. The Immigration and Immigration Department officials was closed due to the strike. People who came to obtain its services were sent back home by the security officers. Accordingly, people who came from far away areas faced immense difficulties. There was a shortage of attendance of employees at the Ministry of Education as well. Despite the strike, postmaster and the assistant of the Battarabulla post office were present at the office providing required services for the general public. Since the workers of the Paduka post office were on strike today, people who came there to obtain relief allowances faced many difficulties. Postmaster General Ruwan Satkumara said that the Telecommunication Services Officers Association does not support the strike. They achieve their duties as usual. The strike cannot be justified. The July 9th Independence Movement distributed handbills in front of the Colombo Ford railway station expressing their protest to the strike. President's Director General on Trade Union Saman Ratnapriya said that there is a political underhand behind the strike. President's Director General on Trade Union Saman Ratnapriya said that Mahinda Jayasinghe of the JVP says that they form a government within 3 months. Then they cannot get those allowances from a government of their own. However, they can convince the inconvenience to general public. The international schools and schools in the north and east function as usual. The strike only hampers the services in the north.
සාමාන්‍ය විදියට වැඩ සේවාවන් පවත්වාගෙන යනවා දකුණ තමයි මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ. ඒක නිසා මේ වර්ජන පිළිබඳව සාධාරණ තීරණයක් ගන්න ඕන කියන එකයි අපි වෘත්තීය සමිතිවලට කියන්නේ.
Dr. Rukshan Belner of the Government Medical Officers Forum said that the strikers cause difficulties not to the government but to the general public. They cannot win any demand through this strike. They should help to the government's program to rebuild the bankrupt nation.
Views were expressed at several media briefings today regarding the strike carried out by some public trade unions. Minister Arin Fernando said that this has been organized to disrupt the IMF's increased salaries for executive grades with much difficulty. The strikers now demand a salary increase, but they must remember that they couldn't even go to the job before 2 years. The country was in a very difficult situation 2 years ago, and the government has brought the country to a consolable situation. The strikers are working under a political agenda. They want to disrupt the essential services in the country to put the people in inconvenience.
සුළු කණ්ඩායමට ඉඩ දෙනවද එහෙම නැත්නම් රටේ මිනිස්සු හැටියට මේ රාජ්‍ය සේවය කියන එකේ අවශ්‍යතාවය ජනතාවට අවශ්‍ය විදිහට සරල විදිහට කටයුතු කරන්න පුරුදු කරනවා මිලියන 2ක වැඩසටහනක් තියෙනවා ජනතාවට උපු දෙන්න ඒක කඩාකප්පල් කරන්නත් ලොකු උමනාවක් තියෙනවා ආයතනික බදු ප්‍රමාණය වැඩි කරන්න.
State Minister Shayan Simasinger said that if the government has to increase taxes, the 30% institutional tax is to be increased up to 42%. Since the public servants do not belong to the income tax limits, in case of increase of income taxes solely, the taxpayers will be affected. State Minister Kanaka Herath said that the opposition is conducting trade union actions in the eve of an election to gain political mileage. Due to these actions, ultimate victims are the general public.
ක්‍රියාමාර්ග අරගෙන තියෙනවා දරුවන්ට අධ්‍යාපනයේත් නැති තත්ත්වයට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා 20000ක් වැඩි කරන්න කියලා. ඒකේ අවසාන ප්‍රතිඵලය සාමාන්‍ය ජනතාවට එනවා. පහුගිය දවස්වල අධ්‍යාපන පද්ධතිය
Minister Manusha Nanayakara said that these trade unions disrupted the education system recently and made to close 10,000 schools. They think they are successful. Their aim is to disrupt the education of the students. General Secretary of the United National Party Palitharange Bandara says that even Anurakumara Dissanayake will lose the upcoming election and the JVP will win in terms of economy. He made these comments at a meeting held in Anuradhapura yesterday. General Secretary of the United National Party Palitharange Bandara said that the JVP is the party that has the highest mode of income among the political parties in the country. After end of this election, Anurakumara Dissanayake will lose. However, the JVP will win a very high income with US dollars, euros and sterling pounds. Therefore, the UNP wants not to strengthen the income of the JVP but the income of the general public. Ranil Wickremesinghe will work in this endeavour. Meanwhile, a group of members representing other political parties in Balangoda area joined the United National Party. They obtained the party membership at a meeting held yesterday under the patronage of parliamentarian Vajira Bewardhana. Parliamentarian Vajra Abeyewardena said that J.R. Jayawardena in his 78th constitution declared a term of 6 years for presidency. It was amended in April 2015 up to a period of 5 years. Whatever stated in the constitution, people are supreme in the country. The 225 public representatives in Parliament have the power to eliminate any objection. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has stated that the presidential election should be compulsorily held as scheduled.
Leading businessman Surendra Vasantha, alias Club Vasantha, and another person were killed in a shootout occurred at the Oruvela area in Athurugiriya this morning. Police say that another male and 3 females were injured in this incident. According to police, popular singer K. Sujeeva was also among the injured. 2 of the injured are now undergoing treatment at the Colombo National Hospital and another 2 have been admitted to Homagama Hospital. Club Vasantha was subjected to this gun attack while he was participating in an opening of a business place at Oruvela area this morning. The investigations conducted so far have revealed that the gunmen have arrived at the crime scene by a motor car and used 2 T-56 firearms for shooting. The suspected motor car was abandoned at Koratota area by the accomplices. Police stated that the suspects have dropped the motor car and 3-wheeler that fled away in a van. Police media spokesman DIG Nihal Talduwa said that according to the observations made so far, this may be a result of rift between 2 factions. It is obvious that it has been organized from a foreign country. He further said that a revolver has been found in the handbag of Vatansa's wife. Investigations are being carried out on this matter as well.
The Supreme Court today dismissed the petition filed to prevent holding the presidential election until an interpretation regarding the president's term of office will be issued. The Supreme Court decided to dismiss the petition without considering subjected to a charge of 100,000 rupees for legal expenses. The petitioner was ordered to deposit this amount within a period of 1 month. The petitioner requested the Supreme Court to a restraining order to prevent the presidential election until the courts issue an interpretation on the official term of the presidency. The petition was filed by an entrepreneur named C.D. Lenawal. The Election Commission and its members and the Attorney General were named as the respondents. At the summoning of the petition today, the Attorney General informed the Supreme Court that it is clear that the term of President's office is 5 years according to the Constitution. Appearing for the Attorney General, Deputy Solicitor General informed the courts to dismiss the petition accordingly. Meanwhile, the Sri Lanka Bar Association also filed an interim petition with regard to this fundamental right petition. They have also requested to dismiss the petition at the earliest occasion. In addition, several other interim petitions were also filed in this case. The Supreme Court, considering all these facts, decided to dismiss the petition accordingly. Elections Commissioner Saman Sri Ratnayaka says that the date of accepting nominations for the presidential election will be announced after the 17th of this month.
Accordingly, necessary measures will be taken to hold the election between the 16th of September and the 17th of October. He revealed this fact at a media briefing held in Colombo today. Elections Commissioner Saman Sri Ratnayaka said that the Commission will have the power to issue the official announcement on holding the election after the 17th of this month. Accordingly, the Elections Commission will announce the date of accepting nominations for the election. The responsibility of the Elections Commission is to hold the presidential election before 1 or 2 months to the end of the term of the President and to elect the new President. Accordingly, the elections should be held between the 16th of September and the 17th of October. With this understanding, estimates were presented by the past budget to allocate funds for this election. The Elections Commission is duly carrying out the duty according to the provisions of the Constitution. Answering a question regarding the changes in election rules at the upcoming presidential election, he said that the bill on regulating election expenses had already been introduced.
Former chairman of the Elections Commission, Mahinda Deshapriya, says that Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna had expressed that they are against postponing the presidential election. Participating at a meeting as a member of the election monitoring organisation at the SLPP office, he expressed these views. Former chairman of the Elections Commission, Mahinda Deshapriya, said that he is having a series of discussions with the political parties that represent the parliament regarding the upcoming presidential election. Attention has been focused on the interests of political parties. As an election monitoring and civil organisation, we believe that none of the future elections can be postponed. Likewise, Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna also expressed that they are not agreed with postponing elections.
දෙකක්වත් කල් දාන්න බෑ. ඒ වගේම අපේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොදුජන පෙරමුණත් ප්‍රකාශ කරා ඔවුන් මැතිවරණ කල් දෙවීමට කිසිසේත්ම එකඟතාවයක් නැති බව.
අපි ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොදුජන පෙරමුණ.
Parliamentarian Rohit Abegunawardena said that as the SLPP, we are having discussions at this moment regarding the party organisation work prior to the upcoming presidential and general elections. The organisation network of the SLPP is ready to accept the challenge of contesting elections.
And meanwhile, Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena says that he regrets since he had not been able to teach economics to the opposition leader Sajith Premadasa and Anura Kumara Dissanayake during his period as a teacher. He made these remarks participating in a ceremony held in Malabe area yesterday. The ceremony was organised to launch the renovation of the 15th lane in Mihidubavata in Malabe under the program to reconstruct 1,500 kilometers of roads. The reconstructed Athurugiriya Bakmigha road was also vested with the public under the patronage of Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that he is the most fortunate teacher in this country who has given tuition to economics and commerce to about tens of thousands of students. Chairman of the University Grants Commission Sampath Amaratunga, Vice Chancellor of Colombo University Professor H.D. Karunaratne, Chairman of the People's Bank Sujiva Rajapaksha, Secretary to our Ministry Anusha Palpita and Secretary to the Ministry of Public Administration Pradeep Yasaratne are my students. He said that he regrettable that he couldn't teach Anura Kumara Dissanayake. If they had attended to his classes, the country would have been very fortunate.
Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that all countries that looked at our country with suspicion are able to look at Sri Lanka with trust again. The Prime Minister made these remarks addressing a ceremony held in Hangwala yesterday. The ceremony has been organised to declare open the Philip Gunawardena Community Hall constructed near the Hangwala town. This is maintained by the Sitawaka Pradesha Sabha. It has a pre-childhood development centre, daycare centre, a Grama-Niladhari office and a rural field officer's office. The Prime Minister further said that over 8,000 temporary employees in the local government bodies will be made permanent. In addition, the government is taking a strong attempt to solve the problems of non-academic staff in state universities. The Prime Minister said that about 8,000 temporary and casual workers in local government bodies will be given permanent appointments. The government also attempts to solve this problem of the non-academic staff in state universities. The government is also taking measures to strengthen the workers' rights.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa says that the country will be built through a program of middle path. He made this comment addressing a rally held in Matale yesterday. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa said that he is committed to follow a middle path policy of social democracy and to eliminate poverty in the country. He will also strengthen micro, small and medium scale entrepreneurs and will start 1 million new business with the help of young generation. He added that the program will be launched in the Matale district to start small scale agricultural programs.
We take a look at foreign news now. France's left-wing leader Jean-Luc Mélenchon stated that the left is ready to govern.
And they stated this after emerging as the largest political bloc in the parliament, but the country faces a political deadlock as no party won a clear majority. With none of the top three alliances winning an outright majority of 289 seats needed to form a government, the Eurozone's second largest economy faces a hung parliament, uncharted territory in its modern age. This may push President Emmanuel to either to build a fragile coalition with moderates from the left and right, or invite the left wing, the New Popular Front camp, to lead the government. It may also restore a technological government with no political affiliation, technocratic government with no political affiliation to handle day-to-day affairs. Brian Le Pen's far-right National Rally and its alliance surprisingly finished this third with the 143 seats despite a strong first-round showcasing. Surprisingly, with none of the top three alliances winning an outright majority of 289 seats needed to form a government, the Eurozone's second largest economy faces a hung parliament, uncharted territory in its modern age.
Dozens of Palestinian civilians were killed or wounded after Israel's Air Force attacks on another school sheltering those displaced by war. At least 54 people were reported dead in Gaza in the past 24 hours and dozens wounded as rescue workers searched the rubble of blown-up buildings for survivors. The Israeli military ordered the evacuation of Tufad Daraj and the old city neighborhoods of Gaza City. Residents in the displays had been fleeing as fighting continues in the nearby Shuja neighborhood. Hezbollah stated that it carried out its biggest drone attack against Israel since its war on Gaza began, targeting an electronic reconnaissance centering in the Mount Hermon in occupied Syrian Golan.
And meanwhile, the foreign media reported that the 14 people were reported to dead in a serious road accident in western Ukraine. A senior regional officer said that the fatalities resumed from a lorry driving into oncoming traffic and colliding with a minibus. 12 passengers, including a 6-year-old child, and 2 drivers were killed, while 1 woman survived with serious injuries. Criminal proceedings have been opened into the incident, and the accident happened near the village of Kharkiv in Rivne region yesterday afternoon. Possible reasons for what happened were being investigated, and Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky conveyed his condolences to the loved ones of those who died.
2 pistols owned by the French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte, with which once intended to kill himself, have been sold at an auction for 1.6 million euros. The weapons, which were created by the Paris gun maker Louis Marine, had been expected to fetch between 1.2 million euros to 1.5 million euros. They were sold at Osanat Auction House yesterday, next to a palace where Napoleon tried to take his own life following his abdication in 1814. The guns are inlaid with gold and silver and feature an engraved image of the Napoleon himself in profile. The pistol sale comes after France's Culture Ministry recently classified them as national treasures and banned their export.
Dinamo Macang, prima kotumi fantamai.
Sports news tonight, former veteran cricketer Sanat Jayasuriya has been appointed as a temporary head coach of the Sri Lanka men's cricket team.
And Sri Lanka Cricket today officially informed this matter. Sanat Jayasuriya is scheduled to hold the head coach position during the upcoming Indian and England tours. Sri Lanka Cricket also informs that Sanat Jayasuriya is already working as a consultant to the team. Chief Executive Officer of the Sri Lanka Cricket, Ashley De Silva, says that Sanat Jayasuriya was appointed to this new post with immediate effect.
Badminton ace Viren Nethasinghe and athlete Dilhani Lekamge have been selected to carry the Sri Lanka flag at the opening ceremony of the Olympics. This was revealed at a media briefing held in Sri Lanka Olympic Committee today. Sports Director Shamal Fernando, Chairman of the Sri Lanka Olympic Committee Suresh Subramaniam and Secretary Maxwell De Silva and several other officials were present at the media briefing. The Olympic Games will be held from the 26th of this month to the 11th of August in Paris. 6 players represent Sri Lanka in this event. Tharushi Karunaratne will compete the 800 metres women's running event and Aruna Darshana 400 metres men's running event. Dilhani Lekamge will take part in the javelin throw event. Ganga Seneviratne represents Sri Lanka in the 100 metres backstroke swimming event, while Kai Labe Singha take part in the 100 metres freestyle. Viren Netthasinghe is scheduled to compete for the badminton event. The Sri Lanka team's official jersey at the Paris Olympics was also launched today.
Pinamu macang, prima kottumi, fantamai.
And with that sports updates regarding Olympics, we are going to wrap up tonight. News do it tomorrow at the very same time. I'm Charlie, signing off with Sharon. Stay safe.